and Teresa. Wonderful to have you with us as ever. And I'm going to do something which you might not be prepared for. Because I'm welcoming in Johnny Vedmore. He is the latest TNT host. Johnny will be starting at TNT today. His show starts at 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. UK time. And he's here, an investigative journalist. He's a commentator. He's a dog and cat lover as well, just so you know that. And he has done some incredible investigations. I'm a fan of Johnny. Welcome to TNT, Johnny. I know you've been on with James Freeman, but today is your day. How are you?
Oh, well, I hope today is my day. We're waiting still on some tech stuff, so there might be a postponement today. Who knows? We'll find out. But yeah, I'm officially on the TNT roster. I have my own page and my own picture and my own banner. That's a good sign, isn't it?
It certainly is. You say we're going to dig down deeper into the news, speak with the best, and test every establishment narrative to the hilt. That's what we love around here. And this is indeed a new beginning for you. So tell us, what are the plans for the Johnny Vedmore show?
Well, I really do want to. I mean, I've been waiting for an opportunity like this for a long time to be able to um, really spread my wings, meet loads of people, and there's loads of really interesting folks out there who know what's going on, who just are waiting to be heard. So I'm going to be trying to find. I'm going to be trying to find everybody I can who can explain a little bit of this madness to us, but I also want to kind of like, I'm a later slot, so I want to be able to go deeper into the news. I want to look at the actual associations of the people who are in the news. I want to show people who these representatives, who these powerful, who these influential people actually work for, who they're associated with, and the tentacles of this grand octopus, this establishment octopus. So that's what the plan is for sure.
Well, one of my favorite deep dives of yours, which I've discussed at length with you, is the Klaus Schwab deep dive. And that was deep. That was so deep, I can still not find the bottom of it. And Klaus Schwab, of course, WEF man. Tell people some of your investigation about Schwab to give them an insight of what you mean when you say, I'm going to go deep.
Yeah, no one knew when I started off researching Klaus Schwab. I was given the task of finding out who his parents were because it wasn't written down properly. It wasn't noted. There was no real evidence. Things had been wiped offline, and it took me 6 weeks to dig down really deep and discover that his father was the head of a Nazi model company called Escher Weiss that was central to the atomic bomb program, and that eventually his father sent Klaus off to Harvard to study under Henry Kissinger himself in the International Seminar, which was funded by the CIA. And later on in 2004, when the Young Global Leaders program started, it was also then funded by Henry Kissinger through the Dan David Foundation. So what I do is I find the information no one else can find, that has been hidden offline, and I reveal it to the world. That's my thing. That's my gig.
We love that. They're loving it in the comments. Let me read you some comments welcoming you. Yay. Welcome, Johnny, says Drumstick. Good morning, Johnny, says Shug. Catherine says, good morning, Johnny. Johnny does great work as well. Oh, wow. Love Johnny Vedmore. I'm never going to be switching off TNT at this rate, says Teresa. We love to hear it. And just one great comment after another. I mean, the thing is, Johnny, you and I work in very similar terrains in many respects. So I think you are a great addition to TNT because we need to dig much deeper always on these people, don't we? The reality is they're pulling these strings. They're controlling our lives in ways that many people have no idea that is actually taking place. So Klaus Schwab, perfect example. Is he really as influential as many of us believe he is?
He is. He's the image for the elite. The elite aren't drawn in, by people like us, or by morals or ethics or real goodness. What they're drawn in by is the image of a Bond villain sitting on a mountainside, stroking a cat, looking over his domain and deciding on how he's going to pull strings to make sure that he gets his way, and so do his friends. These are what the elites look for. That's why Davos is a place that focuses attention of the most influential people behind business and government, draws people in. So he is an image. He's an image, but we are all images. We all create our own images, and those brands lead to control. It leads to control people by influencing them and by pushing them in certain directions. That's what Klaus Schwab's all about, but he's doing it on the globalist scale. He's doing it on global. Everybody has to do what Klaus Schwab says. So he is like most powerful people, he's a very well constructed image that has lasted the test of time.
Yes, indeed. And drawn in royalty. Obviously, at the moment, we've got loads of royal stories and no royals, apparently. But I think one of the really unwelcome developments was the kind of, whole complete support that WEF enjoyed from the royal family, from Charles, from William. This is not a great development, really, is it?
No, there's a much wider thing going on there. I mean, a lot of people will point to what a lot of people term the Malthusian agenda, the idea of population control, using environmentalism to wield power. And that's been going on for a long time. There's actually a documentary coming out with Fox Green who studies King Charles III, Vandana Shiva, and RFK Jr., and how they've used their influence within the environmental movements to basically pressure nation states into adopting policies which are, of course, just going to benefit the elite and a Malthusian agenda. So that's what environmentalism is usually the key for these people to hide behind, and has been since the late 60s and the creation of this sort of climate change ideology by people like Maurice Strong and others.
Yes. One of the things that you raised up to me that I wasn't aware of was the WEF cyber polygon simulations, the sort of potential for cyber attacks. Tell us about it.
Yeah, that's a really interesting one as well, because when they started that off, it was presented by Spurbank, Mishustin, who was the Prime Minister of Russia, and it was very much a WEF Russian-based, Tony Blair backing it up to, called it a cyber threat awareness to try and push policy in their direction, which is about total surveillance, of course. The fear that there's going to be some sort of massive global cyber pandemic that will take down the infrastructure. They want us to fear. This is a form of them again creating a brand, and that brand is cyber terrorism. We are the only ones who can save you. We are the only ones. Come into
Right.
our arms. Come
Right.
into our arms.
Right, like all seeing eye, right? There to protect us, to take care of us, to see everything we do, to monitor how much money we're taking out of our banks and what we're spending it on. I mean, I've been a journalist for a very long time, yourself as well. I literally have never known a time like this where everything seems to be coming together in order to be able to quash our freedom of movement. Today's show has been about miscarriages of justice, complete negligence in terms of children dying, about our inability to roam freely because the corporations and the land barons are taking over our land, and it all seems to be coming together at this moment in time. There's a bill which is obviously taking place in Parliament at the moment. I don't know if you're familiar with the digital ID and data bill. Do you know anything about it? That there is a reading on it today. There's several this week. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, all of these things are infrastructure from above. We don't decide this. Parliament hasn't run this through their think tanks and their institutes. No, this has all been given from above. Remember, the World Economic Forum and the likes are policy institutes. They write the policy, they work out how to implement it, and a lot of the time it's through fear and through just scaring people in general. And this is what this type of bill will be implemented globally all over the world, slightly different ways. And all of it is to give, of course, the power of surveillance and the right to censor to the political party. And that's part of not only Agenda 2030, but really this sort of fascist, communitarian sort of state that's being, globalist state that's being pulled up around us to be our prison. And the prison is really, our society is turning into a bit of a panopticon. We're all being watched by one guard. Our prison is built in a way that one guard can watch us all, and eventually that guard will be AI, and will decide exactly who we are, what we deserve, and what rating we should get, that we then will be incorporated to the wider world credit ratings, etc. This is total surveillance. This is serious stuff. We're entering a new world order, a cyber world order.
Yes, we are indeed. Absolutely, we are. And the thing is it's constantly being downplayed, isn't it? It's like, oh, it's not going to affect you that much. I remember having an absolute big argument with former Minister Edwina Currie on radio, on BBC Radio 5 Live some years back now. And this was when they were introducing at that time new surveillance measures. But this is like surveillance with stilts on. Now they're not even bothering hiding. They want to explore the bank accounts of anybody receiving benefits, as one example. And Johnny, you and I know that they'll always start off with their soft targets, right? So the people, even though most of those people who are receiving benefits are actually working, but we want to demonize them as somehow being feckless and lazy, but they're actually working, just not earning enough. But you know how it starts, right? They start off with who they deem the weakest. So anybody who's receiving benefits need that money. They need to top up their housing benefit, for example. And oftentimes they can't afford pushback, can they? Because they're worried about losing that in the first place. So they'll start off with them and then they'll roll it out to the rest of us. And that's how it happens. And that's why we have to push back right at the start. Is that where you're coming from?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people in society who don't realize how creeping this is and how it's already affecting them. And a lot of people have been primed. I mean, I was talking about one of the guests I got coming up to someone in the park yesterday, a lady I know who's lovely, but she's completely what we'd call a normie. She's been completely primed for agreeing with the state, and listening to what she had to say was reminiscent of communist era, of fascism, of well, we need to keep control. We need to make sure these people aren't going to kill us or murder us. And it's this fear that's been given to us that everybody's after us, our money, our well-being, when in actual fact the people who are creating that fear to install these processes are the people that you should be watching for. So my problem always with these things is that the top guys who are choosing the direction of our society, they're the ones who implement these tools to force us towards their chosen direction. And their chosen direction was Agenda 2030, and we are well rocking along that road now.
We are right down that road. I mean, people have no idea half the time. Around where I live, they had a consultation for their low traffic neighborhoods. We all rejected it. What did they do? A reconsultation and voted yes. So even when you do fight back or push back against it, they still find a way, don't they? Listen, Johnny, absolutely great to have you on TNT. Welcome to TNT. I'm thoroughly enjoying it, even though I'm still a relative newbie round here. I'm settled in now, thoroughly enjoying it because we are so vital. What we do at TNT is absolutely vital. We are a voice that is going all around the globe 24/7. And ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm still allowed to say that without being accused of misgendering in any way. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our latest edition. He is the remarkable Johnny Vedmore, and hopefully he will appear today. But if not, almost certainly tomorrow, because you know how it is sometimes with tech. Tech doesn't always help us. But Johnny, if you do appear today, that is so incredibly wonderful because, it's the first day of spring, right? And I think that there's a symbolism attached to that.
Yeah.
So listen,
thank you.
Welcome, Johnny. And thank you, everybody who has made Wednesday's edition of the Sonia Poultney Show on today's News Talk exactly what it is. I appreciate you all, the team, our guests, all you wonderful people commenting. Stick around. We've got some great programs coming up on today's News Talk. And I will be back with you tomorrow on Thursday in the UK. Enjoy your first day of spring. Take excellent care of yourself.